Well, it's actually a combination of a couple things. When I was growing up, I actually grew up at the parish that I'm working at right now, St. Hyacinth Parish, and the priests there were Resurrectionist priests, so I got to see our priests from the very beginning.
I remember them since I was a little boy. So I got all sacraments from them, and I was an altar server in my parish.
When I was in high school, I became an usher in a movie theater. And I'd see them come, and they always came in twos or threes to these kinds of events, and I said, I want to be that.
I really, really liked the education. I especially loved the priests and brothers down there. They were very, very holy and dedicated men.
I participated in the choir and the glee club, and Father Fred Cheshla was the Resurrectionist, was the director of the choir, and he was a kind of a role model for me. He was very kind, he was very generous. He was a person that I could go and talk to.
I went to the minor seminary, which was a high school for boys, thinking that they might be called to priesthood. And so through all this kind of initial years of my formation, I tried to discover what this resurrection and spirituality is all about, and I fell in love.
The charism of the community is nicely spelled out in the first paragraphs of the constitutions, the rule by which we live. And essentially it's an attitude of dying to selfishness in order to put on the mind and the heart of Christ.
If you go into the ministry of Jesus, and when you look what he himself preached and lived, when you think about the apostles, this is resurrectionist spirituality. We're all called to be resurrectionists.
One of the things that I've learned from the history of our founders is that our God is a God of chances, a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance, fifth chance. God's love is unconditional, and He always loves us and cares about us.
Three founders are Jański, Kasiewicz, and Simonenko. They all have Polish backgrounds, and they were people really given to helping those who are in need.
What I'm really impressed with is Bogdan Jański. You know, I realize that he is a sinner, but I more especially realize that I am a sinner.
He lived and died as a layperson, beset with problems that were every bit as large as the magnificent talents and gifts that he possessed. His ability to bring people together, to get a bunch of followers. These were Central Europeans living in Paris and eventually in Rome, to get them to believe in themselves, that God is calling them to something greater than themselves, to be able to live in a community.
When the Resurrectionists came here to the United States, they didn't come to Chicago. Despite our Polish background, most people think that we came to Chicago because of the big Polish community that was here, but we were actually invited to come to Texas, of all places. We were men from north, south, east, and west in Poland, and so our men recognized that. And at the same time, where they recognized that somehow this group, despite the fact that it was diverse within itself, was able to come together and was able to live together and was able to form community. And that's what the people here that came from Poland wanted. They wanted to be able to form community.
I feel the charism and mission of our congregation every day in my life, especially during the confessions, when I do in the parish. And not just I am hearing confessions, but when I'm with people, when I work with them, when I hear the stories of their life, when they convert.
Reaching out to the people, satisfying myself with the work that I had to do, whether it was the classroom or whether it was giving homilies and giving retreats. All of these things had such a tremendous importance to me as I look back.
Because of my ministry, I have actually been able to travel a lot here in the city of Chicago, or wherever it was that I was ministering. And I was able to go from one parish to another, meeting different people in different situations.
Well, the community has a whole series of ministries into which anyone interested in the religious life can enter.
We have one member now, Eric Wagner, who is studying to be a professor or a teacher of theology, of Scripture. We have other people that have been working as school chaplains.
From such things as an ordinary teacher to a principal, from a teacher to a vocational director and responsible. After 2 years, I became the vocation director.
I had as many as 4 chemistry classes in 1 year. It kept you pretty busy. I was involved with athletics. I was assistant athletic director, along with a beautiful person, Father Ed Karlovich.
If one of them is a teacher or a university professor, and one of them is a hospital chaplain, and one of them is a parish priest, and they're living together or they're coming together to share community, each of them brings a completely different and a non-competitive gift to the whole, to the community. It's really, truly beautiful.
When you think about it, Jesus didn't do his ministry alone. He had the community of disciples, and that kind of a sense of community is always needed.
We prayed together, we ate together, we recreated together, we put on plays, we did all kinds of things.
There's a brotherhood, there's a camaraderie, there's an affinity for each other that is absolutely not repeatable. It's really difficult from inside to say how it is that we differ from, say, other religious orders or priests. However, I have a sense from the sorts of comments that I hear from people all the time, and particularly now as provincial. They are sometimes not specific, but they are consistent in saying, Father Jane, it is so wonderful for us to have resurrectionists. You are so different in the way that you preach, the way you teach, the way that you regard us. Now, because I'm one of them, it's difficult for me to see how different am I exactly, and how different are we precisely from, say, the Jesuits or the Franciscans. But the people notice and they remark.
We're really a wonderful religious community in the Catholic Church. People respect us, bishops that we serve. We're international. And if at some point you really feel that you're called to our mission in our charism, that you search out our vocation directors and animators to at least sit down and talk with them about what your dreams and hopes are.
I would like to say something to young people, that you can be afraid to say to God, yes, I want to follow you. And this is completely normal. Our life as a priest, as a resurrectionist, is not an easy life, but it's a very beautiful life. It's a very rewarding life, I would say.
And perhaps it's worth it to consider, at least, to give a thought, to trying to discern, to make sure that I'm not missing on a great opportunity, great adventure. Because
really the calling to be Catholic is really the calling to be a better human being. And I think that that's what we try to do as members of the clergy, members of our community.
The Holy Spirit is, don't expect any loud voices. He speaks quietly. Make your decision and stick with it and ask the Lord for His help.
If God is calling you, pay attention. Don't be afraid. If the Lord is calling you, you will never regret saying yes. I mean it.